Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Turn 3 Racing Network. As tonight we are here at the World Center of Racing, none other than Daytona. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. My name is K.R. Stolfus, and in the booth with me tonight is the walking trash man himself, Mr. Travis Elliott.
Hey, KR, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing just fine, Travis. Some of you may not get that reference, but Travis once submitted a picture of a trash can for his driver photo, and that is where that joke came from. So inside jokes aside, Travis, we're here for 80 laps at Daytona, qualifying getting ready to take place here in just under 3 minutes.
Oh man, qualifying around here is so important, and you know, 80 laps is a long way to go for a race like this, and I'm excited to see what happens.
Well, right now, fastest lap on the speedway belongs to Daniel Holloway. Holloway himself picking up a win Monday night on the OP Racing Super Speedway Series, but so far does not have a win. His two teammates, Paul Servant and Dana Osborne, have picked up wins earlier this season, locking themselves quite possibly into the championship. Speaking of the championship, we're on race 5 of 13, but only 10 races in this regular season, so we're working essentially race 5 of 10 to try and get into the playoffs.
Yeah, last week, you know, that entire Candy Shack Motorsports team just looked really strong the entire race, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how Foreman Herman does this race, you know, KR, and I feel like last week came down to the wire, and he got right there to the end of the start finish line almost, and he's going to be the person I'm going to be looking at this week.
Yeah, he had a solid run going all the way till coming off of turn number 4. That's when all heck broke loose. But, you know, as many super speedway races as we've seen, Travis, that kind of is the norm for the final lap on these things.
Yeah, because, you know, once you see that white flag, it's checkers or wreckers, and if there's a wreck in front of you, you're keeping your foot in it. You're not lifting for anything because you never know what might happen. Everybody in front of you might spin, and you know, you can come from P9 and get a P2, or even win the race. You know, KR, anything's really possible.
Absolutely is something to keep in mind here tonight. That last lap, anything can happen. You heard it here from a man very experienced on super speedway racing. Travis, how long have you been in the super speedway leagues?
At least a year and a half now. I was at the beginning of the founding of the OP Super Speedway Series on Monday nights, and you know, a lot of guys that are in here I've raced with currently and have raced with in the past, and you know, it's really fun to hop into a session and, you know, see a bunch of people that used to go door to door with for 100 laps around Daytona.
Well, there you have it, folks. Practice session is done and over with as we get ready to go into qualifying here. Drivers are going to have 5 minutes in this qualifying session. Each car out on the track by itself as the drivers start to get into their cars and roll out. The first one to make an appearance onto the speedway, that is the 04 of Mark Mann, as he begins to accelerate off of pit lane. We're going to see if that 04 machine can put himself on pole here tonight.
Yeah, as more cars begin to roll out on their out lap, just trying to get everything set up for their qualifying, and you got to be butter around here, KR, in order to get up high on that standings.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've been running a few races in a super speedway league, and I might as well not even attempt to qualify because my best lap is usually last place for those who take qualifying time. So butter, I am not.
That's okay, KR. Qualifying helps a lot. Not everything when it comes to super speedways. because races are 5% skill and 95% luck. Yeah, your out lap probably takes around minute 30 at most. It should. It's probably, I'd say, average, and that first time lap probably around 47 seconds, 48 seconds time. So 5 minutes. You got enough for those 2 laps, but you can't really dilly dally too much, KR.
The 61 of DJ Mitzel out on the speedway as well. DJ coming off of a good season last season, finding himself way down the order this time. Things not going his way so far this season. Right now, DJ has been struggling to finish a race without too many incidents. We'll see if his luck is going to turn around here in that 61.
Yeah, last week you saw a little bit of, like you said, he's having a little bit of misfortune, a little bit of missteps, but DJ's a really, really strong driver, and I think hopefully he'll make a turnaround for this race and put on a nice little show for us tonight.
Right now, the driver sitting on top of our scoring chart, that is the 40 of Anthony English. He has pole position for the moment. Mark Mann moves into second with David Overstreet rounding out third place here as everyone's starting to roll in their qualifying times. Guys, we are going to step away for the national anthem. We'll be back to bring you tonight's starting lineup.
We take you down onto the track for our opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. As the drivers are beginning to take to the grid, that means it is time to start looking at our starting for race number 5 of 13 in this NSRA Pad Sunday Select Series. And on pole position is going to be the 3 of Paul Servant. On his outside will be J.D. Crow. Row number 2 is going to be the 40 of Anthony English. On his outside will be the 04 of Mark Mann. Row number 3 going to be made up of, well, that's the 88 of Dana Osborne, fresh off his win last week, and the 26 of Hunter Reynolds. Row number 4 going to be John Stevens in the 27 machine. On his outside, the 02 of David Overstreet. I'm gonna spit this out. I mean, the words are right there in front of me. The 61 of DJ Mitzel on the inside of row number 5, and on his outside, the 10 of Les Levy. Row number 6 is going to be the 65 of Jason Grames, and on his outside will be the 11 of Roy Grandy. And I'm still struggling here. Give me just a minute. There's the right button. Ooh. All right. Inside row number 7 will be the 21 of Daniel Holloway. On his outside will be the 64 of Austin Derbyshire. Row number 8 will be the 25 of Jimmy Reynolds and the 84 of Lynn McNeese. Row number 19 will be the 101 of David Gainforth, and on his outside will be the 411 of Eric Green. Row number 10, Justin Levine in the 20 and the 343 of Russell Hancock. Row number 11 is going to be the 30 of Donald Bennett, and on his outside, the one who you were talking about, well, will be Stephen Herman, or scheduled to be Dan Harrington, but Stephen Herman going to be row number 12 on the inside. On his outside will be the 31 of Todd Poston, and that is your starting lineup for this one. As they work their way down the backstretch, we look at our race info here. 50% fuel limit. We expect about 18 laps on a fuel run. We are running 80 laps here at Daytona. Beautiful weather for this racing. 2 fast repairs available to these drivers, so a lot of action going to be going on here tonight as this pace car gets ready to get out of the way. Travis, why don't you take us to this first green flag here tonight?
All right, KR, I'm really excited and ready for the start of this race. Pace car off, the green flag is out, and it looks like Paul Servant is off to a great start. That inside line getting a little bit gapped right now, but 17 on the outside, JD Crow, him and Mark Mann are really making that outside work really hard. And, you know, KR, when you're going into turn 1 like this, all you can think is the 3 going to hop up if he can get clear, or if the 40 is going to get to his bumper, and that inside line is just going to keep the momentum. As the car behind Hunter Reynolds there's a gap on the outside line. Outside line is not really formed, but JD Crow is getting a massive push from Mark Mann, and Hunter Reynolds is right there on his bumper. That outside line is looking strong for this first lap, but I think that inside line is just going to keep it up. So much momentum on the bottom line, more cars, and looks like Paul Servant is going to be the one to lead lap number 1 of this race, KR.
Yeah, Paul got a good run coming off at turn number 4. He does cross the start-finish line and leads our first lap here tonight, as that inside lane really does start building some momentum. The 40 of Anthony English looking like he's going to peek out to the outside. The 88 of Dana Osborne almost went with him, just was not clear of the 17, but Osborne going to close the gap very quickly. So now teammates, first 2 cars down on the inside line, and they might try and hook up here and stay hooked up and push that 3 to the front and maybe clear that 88 of the 40 and put that 88 to the outside lane.
Yeah, you know, controlling lanes at especially at Daytona where 3 wide, it can happen, and it's very easy to do. But it's a little bit tighter than Talladega, like we saw last week. Not as much room, so it's a little bit more risk versus reward. And I don't think that the 88 is going to hop up just yet. A little too early in the race, but, you know, I could be wrong, KR, but that 3 and 88 are looking really strong right now.
Dana in that 88 machine, like we said earlier, picked up his first win of the season last week, looking to try and make it 2 in a row here. A lot of racing to go as we're already on lap 3 of 80. And, you know, you mentioned not jumping up so early. Well, the 40 didn't do it until after he completed the first lap.
That's true. That's true.
So Anthony English leading the charge in the outside lane, the 17 of JD Crow pushing on his back bumper. And then we have the 04 of Mark Mann. That is the 3 cars in the outside lane. They are trying to get something going. Everyone running very close here right now. We did have 25 drivers scheduled to start this race here tonight. Only 23 have taken to the track. Right now, Chris Akers and Eric Green finding themselves sitting on pit road. We'll see if they can get out there and get rolling. But a rough start to their race here tonight as they have been unable to make the start.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they had some sort of issue that they weren't able to, get in their car and get on track, or anything of that nature. It's unfortunate to see when people can't get into a race, because who would not want to do a super speedway race where the top 20 are within a second of one another?
Super speedway racing is very intense, and I have the pleasure of both calling these kind of races and participating in them, and I can tell you, when I'm driving in them, they seem to go a lot faster than when I'm sitting here talking about them. It's amazing how time feels different when you are that busy in a car racing against 20 other people who are all within a second.
Yeah, it's you're a little more high strung. Looks like the 40 got a nice run out there from a nice big push from JD Crow. It looks like we have a Toyota by himself going to the wall right now. It looks like it's the 20 of Justin Levine making that outside line look pretty easy. KR, when that middle line gets kind of checked up, that top line really comes in quick, and especially you can see he's just moving up the pack right now. That middle line's really spread out. It looks like he might have had a little contact with the 64 there, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him try to make it all the way up here. If more cars want to be a little bit more aggressive, they might hop up there with him too.
He's gaining a little bit of ground, but it looks like now the 64 Derbyshire going to cut up in front of him. That stops the progress of the 20 Levine. Dropping down now, we go back to 2 wide racing, but Justin did gain 2 spots from the start of this race, trying to run that outside lane. Made it work there all by himself. That's not something that's very easy to do.
Yeah, it takes a lot of patience waiting to time the run, and KR, the arrow around this track is really interesting, because when you're by yourself on the outside, especially close to the wall, you can almost slingshot yourself with the car in front of you and kind of keep your run a little bit with that wall because of the air that's running off the car. And as I'm looking at the front of the pack, it looks like the 88 actually jumped up in front of the 40, so he cleared him. So now you have the 3 of Paul Servant and the 88 of Dana Osborne leading these 2 lines. It looks like the 27 is going to jump up to the top 2 and take that lead spot on the top side there, KR.
John Stevens in the 27 machine, now leading the charge in the outside lane. Dana Osborne in the 88 pushing on his back bumper. Sean Stevens comes into tonight with only 2 starts to his credit so far this season, so this is his 3rd start here tonight. A little bit down the running order because of that in the point standings, but Sean showing some speed here. Maybe he can surprise this field and pick up a win here tonight.
Yeah, it's always ideal, especially when you're in a championship run. It's always good to get wins and keep momentum up like that. And as we're looking at it right now, that top side's starting to fall away, but we're pretty a long way from green flag pit stops, aren't we, KR? I think we're about 8-9 laps from it.
Expected green flag pit stops around lap 18. Of course, anything could happen. We could see some guys maybe try to short pit, but a fuel run here is about 18 laps, so we know at that point drivers are going to have to come in. Maybe a caution thrown in there mixes that up or not, but we'll find out as we continue on. Paul Servant in the 3 doing a solid job so far. He has been committed to that yellow line, and he is letting everyone else know, hey, if you want to get around me, you better get some help to do it, because I am not coming off the bottom.
Yeah, it looks like there's a pretty sizable gap forming between that top line behind Dana Osborne, about about 4 car lengths between him and the 40 of Anthony English. I'm wondering if they're trying to lag back, if they can get back into that bottom lane, KR, or I don't know what's going on with that top side, but it's just falling apart, and it's really not helping the 27 and 88 right now.
Yeah, they all kind of did fall apart there. The 40 of Anthony English is trying to close in on the back bumper as Dana Osborne does slice down to the bottom lane now. That's going to leave Sean Stevens without anybody on his back bumper. We're going to see him slice down right in between 2 cars. That was a good move for the 27 to try and not lose any more ground.
Yeah, it's always nice when, you know, the entire lane just completely disappears and you can get yourself to squeeze in line and not lose too much ground. It looks like the 40 of Anthony English is also going to fall in line, and first car on the outside is Mark Mann with still 6 cars behind him. So I wonder if they're going to try to make a push to that outside, or if they're going to try to slide down, find a place in the bottom. And Mark Mann getting to the bottom as soon as I say that, cutting it close, and now the 84 of Lynn McNeese is leading that outside. So KR, I'm starting to assume that everybody's going to be trying to get into line to come down pit road here in about 5-6 laps maybe.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one as we go on board with the 21 of Daniel Holloway. And I think these drivers are just trying to get ready for their green flag pit stops. Everyone wanting to get to the bottom. It does make hitting pit road a whole lot easier when you're right there on that yellow line.
Yeah, KR, especially, you know, green flag pit stops around super speedways, every second counts. So hopefully these guys are probably, you know, in their team channels, talking to one another, trying to strategize and trying to figure out, you know, if we do full tank, no tires, 2 tires, lefts, rights. You know, there's so many things that you can do that'll save you time. And right now the 8402, and I believe that is the 28, are making that top side just work right now. Of course, everybody's falling in line, but they're not. They're pushing hard. Lynn McNeese is leading this top side with David Overstreet behind him, and you know, it was the 20, sorry, of Justin Levine, and I think they're going to try to make their way up to the front as far as they can and try to pass this lead pack. That's a big
McNeese
wiggle from Lynn.
got sideways heading into the tri-oval, gathered it back up as we are creeping in on our first round of green flag pit stops. So far, Paul Servat leading quite a bit of laps here. And now that we see most of these guys single file, no one looking to challenge for that race lead as we're coming up on lap 15. Like I mentioned, these drivers got about 18 laps of fuel, so they are getting close to hitting pit road at any moment.
Yeah, and I keep hammering on Lynn McNeese in this top line, but you know, they're slowly creeping their way up to the front of this pack. And I'm wondering if at this point, you know, lap 15, they're going to be pitting probably 3 to 4 laps. And they got to start weighing out the options of, hey, should we try to just drop back? Or I think it looks like they're just going to make a push to the front, KR.
Yeah, that time around, Lynn McNeese had one of the faster lap times, beating out our race leader, the 3 of Paul Servat, by over 1/10 of a second. So he is making his way forward. He is on a charge now, full head of steam for that outside lane. The 82 machine, or I'm sorry, that's the 02 of Overstreet, pushing hard on him. They are closing in, and now we're starting to see a challenge for the race lead. You got to wonder what these guys in the outside lane got in store for us. Maybe they're going to try and go an extra lap here than the drivers on the inside.
Yeah, that's the only thing that they could be doing, because you know, they're probably going to be pitting in 3 laps or so, and I don't think that being that lead car for as long as the 84 has been leading that outside might be able to go as long as some of these other people, but we'll see if he hops into this gap right. Nope, it looks like the 27 just closing that gap up right now. So yeah, KR, looks like they're going to be committed to that outside line. I'm wondering if they're all going to try to pit together, or if this is a strategy like you said. But with the majority of the majority of the drivers being on the bottom of the track, you know, this might be detrimental to their race possibly.
All 22 cars that are out on the speedway, well, they're within 1.6 seconds of each other. Our first car, that's the 3 of Paul Servant. Last car on the lead lap, that's the 7-Eleven of Steven Squirmin' Herman. And he is at the tail end of this field. Driver who had a shot to win last week, right now finding himself running dead last. Don't count him out just yet. I have a feeling he's just hanging out at the back, waiting for his chance to strike, because we got several drivers peeling off for pit lane.
I believe that is all the people in the Caddyshack Motorsports team, if I'm not mistaken.
You are mistaken. That's Candy Shack.
Oh, Candy Shack. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the movie.
That's okay. It happens.
But you know who didn't pit? Majority of the inside line, which it was allowed the 84 of Lim McNeese and the 02 in them to hop in line. So it looks like they lucked out. They might have been waiting on somebody to, hop down pit road so they could fill their gap.
So DJ Mitzel now leading the charge for this field, but he's going to have to hit pit road here this time. And here comes a whole bunch of cars. 2 drivers going to stay out, as we got one driver who locked up the brakes hard. And if you give me just a moment, I will let you know who that was. It looked like Lynn McNeese in the 84.
There's a couple people driving backwards down pit road.
Lynn McNeese in the 84. Getting out of shape. Sean Stevens also getting out of shape here. Big stack up onto pit road.
Yeah, KR. I was watching our first group of pit stops, the Candy Shack Motorsports team, along with JD Crow. They went down pit road together, and it looks like they're all gonna make a nice little run around this. That the majority of the drivers in that pack, because they might have had a little time loss with that incident going into pit road there, KR.
Yeah, that would be something. All those people peeling off, maybe costing a little bit of time. Justin Levine and Austin Derbyshire are going to hit pit road. That is going to let the field cycle around. The 61 of DJ Mitzel going to pick up the race lead. Hunter Reynolds closing in on his back bumper, but Candy Shack Motorsports with the 3 of Paul Servant, then Dana Osborne in the 88, Daniel Holloway in the 21. They're coming with a full head of steam on that outside lane, and they have in tow with them the 17 of JD Crow.
Yeah, you can just see the amount of momentum that they're carrying. They're going to clear this 2-car tandem of DJ and Hunter, as you can see the 20 of Justin Levine coming out onto the track now. And man, that 3 dropped down to that. So they're not going to clear. They're going to go back to controlling the lanes like they were earlier in the race, KR. And that's a smart move, especially with how much of the race is still going on and the field is so spread out. And the 88's going to drop down in front of that 3 Paul Servant. And man, the Candy Shack Motorsports team just looks really good. As Hunter Reynolds looked like he was about to go 3 wide, but he's going to fall in line behind JD Crow in the 17. And KR, the field's spread out. This is always really fun when your team strategy plays out really well, and you can get yourself into a better spot for the rest of the race.
Green flag pit stops always do a very good job of scrambling the fields here on these super speedways, and that is evident right now, as before green flag pit stops we're all within 1.6 seconds of each other, and now due to the troubles with Sean Stevens and Lynn McNeese, you can even throw in Jason Graves, they're 21 seconds off the pace. Roy Grandy is 17 seconds behind the race leader. And then Stephen Herman, who was 1.6 before green flag pit stops, he's now almost 9 seconds behind our race leader, Dana Osborne. So this green flag pit stop really shook up this field, separated everybody, and we are finding these guys now trying to get caught back up. But this front pack staying very uniform here, trying to all work together. We got 4, 5, 6 cars And then you got the 40 of Anthony English, the 04 of Mark Mann closing in quick. So this is about to be another big group here.
Yeah, it looks like behind them, the closest pack to them is a pack of about 4 cars led by Todd Poston in the 31. And, you know, KR, they're, 6.5 seconds back. They're going to have to hunker down and really, really push their cars to the limits to catch up if they want to even think about catching up. But, if my math's correct, 10 cars is usually better than 5 cars, especially around Daytona.
It is, but it also comes down to, can those 5 cars work more efficiently and push harder than the 10 cars? I have seen a 5-car pack catch up because they stayed committed to pushing as hard as they could and not trying to run too wide like you might see a 10-car pack.
That's true, but sometimes in very weird cases, the too wide can actually be a little bit quicker just because of how the arrow is reacting with the cars. But that 20 of Justin Levine was in the back of this lead pack here, and he just has a massive head of steam on that outside, going all the way up to Hunter Reynolds' bumper there, and he's sitting now in P6, P5, and I wonder if he's trying to figure out what his car can do in the stages of coming to the end of the race. He's just trying to test some stuff out, but it looks like people are just going to settle in here and pray for no caution. But people in P11 and back are just hoping that they can get a caution, as that pack of 5 cars now has grown to about 8 cars, KR, and hopefully they can get a little bit more momentum up and catch back up to this lead pack here.
So the 02 of David Overstreet rounding out your top 10. He is the last car in this lead pack. A unique paint scheme for the 02 says "Eat Me" on it. I had a little bit of a throwback there. If some of you older people, maybe even younger people who have a passion for the older stuff, might know what that reference is to. But the 02 machine at the tail end of this lead pack, he does have a 6-second gap to work with back to the 31 of Todd Poston. And Todd has the 343 of Russ Hancock right in front of him. Russ lost internet connection for a few laps. He finds himself down the running order all the way in 23rd, couple laps down now.
Yeah, KR, and going back to those pit stops, the 20 of Justin Levine and the 64 of Austin Derbyshire pitted together, and you can see just how crazy green flag pit stops can be. He's going to go another lap down, being passed by this lead pack. And I'm wondering if he's they're 3 wide, pushing, beating, and banging. It seems a little not necessary to pass a lap car, but things get a little fishy when you come up on lap cars that fast.
Yeah, you got to go where they're not. I think the 64 actually ran out of fuel trying to make it to pit road, because him and the 20 were nose to tail. And then the next time we saw them, there was a huge separation between the two coming onto pit lane.
Yeah, that would explain it, that why he'd be 2 laps down, because you'd think he would just be 1 lap down. But he's going to hang in there. He's going to sit with his lead pack, save a little bit of fuel, try to pit with them, and see where he can get. He's currently the first car, a lap down, besides Russell Hancock, who is 8 laps down. But anything's possible. I've seen people come back from races and get a decent finish 3-4 laps down. Anything's possible, KR.
For sure. Absolutely. And anything can happen, as I use all the words I know in my vocabulary.
Oh man, this top line, or this front pack top line, is just 21 is all over the 88's bumper and giving him everything he's got. You'd think that they would all just hop single file and save a little bit of fuel, but no, they're just gonna go at it. Have a little bit of fun with it. It's a long race, and you just run single file, everybody starts to get boring, everybody gets lethargic, and that's when mistakes can happen.
Yeah, you do have to keep a tight grip on the wheel and keep your eyes moving, keep your mental your mental engine, if you will, running on all 8 cylinders when you're out here like this, side by side, nose to tail. You're all bunched in, everyone trying to push on you, you're trying to push on somebody. Don't forget to look at your gauges while you're at it every once in a while.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. You know, luckily with these drivers, they have digital dashes in these, and they have the oil temp and the water temp just plastered right on in front of them. So, you know, for the temps, I think you can push them about 300. I've seen, you know, personally, I've seen up to at least 311 in some cars, and that's really pushing it. That's probably last lap pushing it, not, you know, lap 30 bump drafting 2x2. And you know, KR, this looks like everybody's gonna settle in here and just really just get to the end of this race as the 31 of Todd Poston and that entire pack that he's leading. They're losing a little bit of time, so maybe they want to try to cycle out and get somebody else in front of that pack, but they got the 343. I don't know if he's got damage or he's a little slow, but he might be holding up this pack here, KR.
Well, as we look at timing and scoring, they are running about 3 miles an hour slower than this lead pack, and that's equating to quite a bit of time lost on the speedway, as right now Todd Poston does find himself 7.8 seconds behind the race leader of Paul Servant.
Yeah, I wonder if that equates to you know, them gaining time being 2x2 like they are, because that's the only thing that I could think of being different. As the 88 drops down in front of the 3 of Paul Servant, leaving the 21 to lead that outside with the 20 of Justin Levine behind him, who has been very strong so far of what I've seen this entire race, as he gives the 21 a huge shove. That is a massive push, and the 21's going to hop down, of course, in front of his 2 teammates. It looks like the 17 was on the apron for a second. I wonder what that was about.
So JD Crow keeping his car straight after touching the apron. That can get hairy as well. That transition can really make that car do wild things. But Daniel Holloway in the 21 trying to pick up a win here tonight. It'd be his first win of the season. Holloway fresh off a championship win, coming in with a good points gain for the season. Entered this race 6th place in the championship standings, but doesn't have a win to his credit so far. We are on race number 5 this season, and we've had 4 different winners so far.
Yeah, knowing how the 21 of Daniel Holloway is, he's a really strong competitor, and he's very capable of getting wins. So it looks like he was about to jump in front of the 20 of Justin Levine there, and then he thought again. Probably listened to a spotter, and
Wait, you can do that?
Yeah, you can listen to your spotters, man. What you gotta do?
My spotter doesn't even know when I'm clear.
I mean, mine doesn't either. That's why I have mirrors.
Oh, you're supposed to use those? Man,
I mean,
these
I got
things
a
I'm
virtual
learning
one.
now after I wrecked out of the lead.
Yep, KR, and you know, we got a bunch of cars getting into the bottom line, and we're on lap 34, coming to 35. You know what that means? We're about to have another green flag pit stop here soon. Get this field spread out even more.
Yeah, drivers got to start thinking about how they're going to hit pit lane, who's going to come win. We are closing in about 2 laps away from green flag pit stops. Maybe even this time around we'll see them hit pit road. But Daniel Holloway in that 21 machine leading this race. Justin Levine on his outside in the Raise Energy 20 machine. Austin Derbyshire, his teammate, pushing on him. Derbyshire 2 laps down right now. Would love to try and get one of these laps back, but man, he's going to have to get in front of the leader and then hope for a caution, and he can end up on the same lap as everyone else, just like that, as we got several drivers hitting pit road. The 88 of Dana Osborne leading.
17 just went around.
big group of drivers. JD Crow in the 17 machine pointed the wrong direction.
Oh, we got more people coming into pit road. 30 of who's the 30?
Donald Bennett looked like he was hard on the binders. Smacked the front inside wall there with his front end. So not the smoothest of entries for pit road.
And that was that second group, trying to gain as much time as they could on that front group. So hopefully that didn't cost them too much time there, KR. But man, you hate to see that when, especially just pit road, green flag pit stops are so essential, especially in races without stages.
Justin Levine right now scored as the race leader. Austin Derbyshire out in front of him. These two are teammates in the Who Me Motorsports team, and right now they are out in front. Derbyshire would like a caution, but not yet. He's not the first car one lap down anymore. That goes to the 7-11 of Stephen Herman, and now the 31 of Todd Poston is the first car one lap down.
Yep, as you can see, they're all making passes. The 20 is doing a really smart thing right now, and he's got the 64 in front of him, because right now the 20 is being scored as the leader, and last time they went, was it 2 or 3 laps longer than I think everybody else did, at least till that front pack, or that leading pack that first pitted was Candy Shack Motorsports. So I'm wondering if they're going to come down this time really trying to stretch out their fuel as much as they can to try to gain as much time. And as soon as I say that, they come down pit road. Hopefully they can get smooth on and off this time and really try to gain some time. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what this 20 can do if he can stay clean this race, KR.
So with that cycling through, the 26 of Hunter Reynolds could pick up the lead, but Justin Levine already out of his pit box and gaining speed, trying to get up to speed and get in front of this 26 machine. But the pack we are looking at already at full speed, working their way through turns 1 and 2. Justin Levine now joining the racetrack. We'll see how this plays out. This 26 coming with a full head of steam.
Yeah, that entire pack is just carrying all their momentum. They're just gonna probably just fly on by. Don't think that the 20 is gonna give it up easy though. He's gonna try to keep his teammate in front of him, because if things cycle out just right, the 64 is, if he can stay in front of the pack, he's gonna be the first car lap down, and maybe even get that lap back if they can.
Right now, as things stand, Donald Bennett, first car one lap down, then it's JD Crow, and then the 64 of Austin Derbyshire. So Austin's got some work to do as Donald Bennett out in front of him for that first car one lap down, as the 65 of Jason Grames now becomes the first car one lap down as this field flashed right on by him.
Yep, and Hunter Reynolds and company just caught back up to that 2-car tandem of Derbyshire and Levine, and they're just going to carry their number game and carry their momentum probably past them. I would expect Hunter to hop down, unless they can keep their momentum up enough where they can just roll past this 2-car tandem right here, which Hunter's a very smart race car, as the 21 just had a big checkup. 3-car had to get out of it, and caused a big gap to form between the 21 and 3 there. That might cost him a little bit of momentum, but I think Hunter, being the driver that he is definitely going to drop like he just did, and he's going to lead that inside line.
So the 26, Hunter Reynolds, still out in front. DJ Mitchell in the 61, now trying to take that race lead away from him, as that outside lane is going to have the momentum to the start-finish line. We are past the halfway point, lap 41 of 80. So this race continues to march on. We have been oh my goodness, we have been
green flags for 41 laps.
Thank you. Yes,
My pleasure.
I can talk. I promise.
Yeah, it looks like the 21 just hopped down in front of the 61, so that top side is really using that momentum and getting people clear. And it looks like the 61, he's being very indecisive, and that's going to kill the momentum with that inside line, KR. And You can see the 3 of Paul Servan, the 88 and the 20, and they're just going to roll on past that inside line. You know, KR, that's a big thing about super speedway racing. You can't be indecisive. You have to, if you want to make a move, you have to make the move or not make the move, because stuff like that can really, it can destroy runs. It can cause massive wrecks. You know, you can't be indecisive when you're going 200 miles an hour, you know, feet away from one another.
Paul Servan in the 3 leading the charge on the outside lane. Daniel Holloway down on that yellow line just in front of the 61 of DJ Mitzel. We still have quite a few laps to go. We're going to see 2 more pit stops, I think.
Yep.
We'll be close on that one.
It might be 1 actually. Because if they can stretch this to at least 62, 63, but then you have green white checkers that you have to think about.
Yeah, it's gonna be close.
Yeah, this is gonna be
the 64 and the 20 are doing a good job at stretching it.
Yeah, they are, and you know they're not. As DJ Mitzel has a big push up the track, and you can tell when somebody's a seasoned super speedway driver as they're passing a lap car. I believe that is the 11 or the 65. It was 11? Yeah, it was the 11 of Roy Grand. And, but what I was saying, KR, you could tell the 3 of Paul Servant when DJ pushed up the track a little bit, just unaffected by that and just kept his eyes forward, not really worrying about it, and didn't move at all.
No flinch from the 3 of Paul Servant. He is a cool operator behind the race wheel. The 21 machine of Holloway, the 3 of Servant running side by side right now as they make their way through 3 and 4 here. This lead pack after this green flag pit stops has shrunk from 10 cars down to not as many. A couple of our cars here in this group are a lap down. That is the 65 of Jason Graves, the 11 of Roy Grandy. They finding themselves 1 lap down. Austin Derbyshire still trying to get back on the lead lap. He is 2 laps down, I believe.
Yes, he is. I'm wondering if, you know, trying to think strategy and think in the mind of, you know, if I was on track right now. The 20 and the 64 have gone longer than anybody else has coming to pit road. So I'm wondering if the 64 of Derbyshire is kind of just accepting the fact that, you know, if there's no cautions, he's going to be 2 laps down, but he's got his teammate in front of him, and, you know, they've been able to go longer in field than everybody else. So it's going to be fun how to shake out, especially with the 20 and the 64 being able to merge back in with this lead pack here, KR, as Paul Servant drops down in front of his teammate of Daniel Holloway, and now it leaves the outside line to Dana Osborne. And it looks like the 20 is going to push him all the way past the 3, and I would assume that the 88 is going to drop down in front of that 3 there, KR.
And here comes the move down to the bottom as the 88 gets out in front of Paul Servant. That leaves the 20 and the 64 in the outside lane. Roy Grandy in the 11 trying to close up. Make it 3 cars pushing nose to tail in the outside lane. This 6 cars on the lead lap in this group. They have a 9.5 second lead over the 04 of Mark Mann and the 02 of David Overstreet. This 2-car group trying to work as good as they can. Not as much energy between the 2 of them, so they don't have all the speed that this other group does. Not only that, but they are also trying to stay out in front of this group here, which includes the 25 of Jimmy Reynolds and the 31 of Todd Poston. This group closing in very quickly on Mark Mann and David Overstreet.
Yeah, the massive gap. Oh, there's a big wreck on the front straight. DJ Mitzel's around. Looks like Hunter Reynolds was involved. No yellow flag is out, though. So that's going to break up this front pack even more, KR.
Let's take a look at this one real quick. The 61 of DJ Mitzel and the 26 of Hunter Reynolds make contact. DJ Mitzel goes around Hunter Reynolds hitting the 65 machine. He shoots down to the inside, but gets rolling. And the 61 of DJ Mitzel got it straightened, got it up to speed before a caution was triggered. And so now our lead pack went from 6 cars down to 4 that are on the lead lap. You still got Austin Derbyshire right there with them.
Yeah, it looks like the 61 picked up quite a bit of damage around here. So I wonder if he's going to keep running this out and hope for a caution. I think him and Hunter were both hoping that a caution was going to get thrown there because things were a little hectic, and it looks like Hunter didn't get too bad of damage from that, surprisingly, even though he made kind of a little bit of right front damage, and that might hold him up trying to suck up to this pack that's in front of him of Mark Mann and David Overstreet. But yeah, KR, the green flag pit stops really shaking everything up, and now we have 4 drivers, 3 of them being teammates, going for taking the flag on lap 50, coming to 31 to go now, and things are going to shake out pretty nicely.
We're about 3 to 4 laps away from our next round of green flag pit stops. 50% fuel load here really burns that fuel off very quickly in this 80 lap race. And then it becomes kind of a sprint to the end of this thing to see who had the best strategy. And with this field as spread out as it is, cautions become less likely. Not that a caution isn't going to happen or won't happen, but when you don't have 20 cars all side by side, nose to tail, everyone's got a little bit of room to move around.
Yep, your chances go down more and more the more the people spread out. It looked like Mark Mann and Hunter and David Overstreet all just hit pit road there, so it looks like they were starting the first green flag pit stops there as they go a lap down to that pack that's in front of them. Hopefully they can get a little bit of momentum and catch back up. But KR, they're 1 stop away from the end of this race now, and I think they're just hoping either for a caution or maybe they can time out their pit stop and try to get joined up with this group that's leading the race, consisting of the Candy Shack Motorsports team and the who is it, the What Me team?
Who Me Motorsports.
Who Me. The Who Me Motorsports. So this is gonna be a fun little 30 lap sprint to the end here, KR. I'm really excited.
Yeah, the laps are starting to tick down now. Dana Osborne in the 88 would love to make it 2 in a row, but the 21 of Daniel Holloway would love to pick up his first win of the season. Paul Servant has a win. Dana Osborne has a win. Those 2 teammates right now find themselves in front of the 21. So could we see maybe a little bit of gamemanship to try and get that 21 a race win?
You could, depending on how they are as a team. If they're just gonna be like have at it and man for himself as the 20 goes to the wall. I wonder if he's trying to let the 64 in front of him so he can save a little bit of fuel there, KR.
I'm not 100% sure. Maybe he just got a little bit of temperature warning, wanted to get some fresh air, maybe drop back just a hair. But that 20 really isn't trading a whole lot of fuel saving, because it's not like he was leading this pack. He was tucked in tight behind the 21.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if the there goes the Candy Shack Motorsports team on their pit stop.
There is your fuel strategy. They made a move as Osborne locked him up on the pit road, but Justin Levine having a little bit of forethought there, trying to get in behind his teammate and use his teammate to pull him around.
Yeah, and it looks like Mark Mann and Hunter and them, they've already pitted, and they're gonna pass this 2-car tandem of Umi Racing of the 64 and the 20, and those are your leaders. And I'm wondering how this is gonna pan out if Mark Mann and the people who he pit with can catch back up to that Candy Shop Motorsports team there, KR.
Yeah, gonna be quite the race here as Levine continues to cycle around. He is really getting the most out of this fuel as the 64 touches the yellow line there, a little bit of a wiggle. I'm a bit surprised that the 20 did not jump up and follow the 02 of Overstreet, but this group has gotten back on the lead lap. Mark Mann, Hunter Reynolds, and David Overstreet. Last cars on the lead lap, as our race leader is Justin Levine, and man, he can really stretch out this fuel, but he's still short to make it on this final stop.
Yeah, he is, KR, and you can see that the gap is significantly shrunk between Mark Mann, Overstreet, and Hunter to this lead pack of Osborne, Holloway, and Paul Servant. You know, that was a really good pit call by them coming in when they did, and you can see that they're even swapping out the pusher, trying to keep as much momentum and keep whoever is the coolest behind the leading car so they can catch back up. So I'm interested to see if they can catch back up to that Candy Shack Motorsports team, KR, before the end of the race.
Paul Servant, now your race leader in the 3, the 88 of Dana Osborne, the 21 of Daniel Holloway, all Candy Shack Motorsports drivers right there running a 1, 2, and 3. Justin Levine making his way off of pit road. He is scored as the race leader as we look out the back of the 20 machine. Levine trying to get up to speed. He has his teammate right there with him. So a good pit stop by these two, staying very close to each other for this.
Yeah, their pit strategies the entire night is really just paying off for them. They're able to stretch it so far, and you know, if they can pull up behind the 21 here and, you know, really keep their position with this lead pack, might even slow them down enough to, you know, let Mark Mann, David Overstreet, and Hunter catch up as the 20 hops behind the 64. And we have car smoking. It's the 65 is off the track, and it looks like he got out of the car before, but there's a car in the wall of JD Crow, I believe, KR.
So Jason Grames spinning the 17 of JD Crow very slow here. Not sure what happened between those two, but an incident taking place, the 17 and the 65 getting a little bit out of shape. We stay green somehow, and Justin Levine continues to lead as Austin Derbyshire in the 64 out in front of his teammate, trying to pull him around, trying to get that 20 to stretch the fuel as far as he can. But with 24 laps to go, now make it 23, I still think he's going to have to hit pit road. But maybe this time when he comes down pit road, I'll tell you what, he won't have to have as much fuel as the rest of this field. Everyone else maybe going to have to take a full load. This 20 machine, maybe just a second, 2 seconds of fuel compared to everyone else doing 7 to 8 seconds.
Yep, and that time gain could be massive, especially around here where seconds are everything. And you know, that 3-car pack of Mark Mann, David Overstreet, Hunter Reynolds are doing everything that they can to cut down this gap. And you know, KR, if they can get their pit strategy right, maybe undercut this lead pack here, these lead cars, and like they did last time, it really cut that time down significantly also.
As the 20 jumps up in front of Candy Shack Motorsports, Levine trying to make some noise here as he is now in front of Daniel Holloway. Holloway, not sure where he wanted to go. He's staying tucked in behind the 20. Levine making his car very wide, forcing the 21 to stay behind him. Now he drops down to the inside as Derbyshire is going to get to the back bumper. And we got a race for the lead on our hands here. When will we see our final round of pit stops? We are about 4 laps away from the fuel window opening up between these two, or between our drivers, to make it to the end of this thing. But do keep in mind, you want to have a little bit of extra there for the possibility of a green-white checkered.
Yeah, as this lead pack comes up on a lap car, they didn't give him room last time, and it looks like they aren't going to give him any room as there's almost contact between the 20 and the 88. And that really got the 64 out of shape, KR. But I wonder if they were trying to take away the inside of this Candy Shack Motorsports team so they couldn't pit, but I don't think that's going to have any issue because they're just going to rocket past those 2 cars and go down to that yellow line and hold that line. But that's something else that you have to think about, especially with the field as spread out as it is, KR. You're going to have lap cars everywhere, slow cars, as they're coming up on, I believe that's the 27 of Sean Stevens. It's going to be something to come into, especially if that 20 decides he wants to go to the wall, or if they catch more cars. You have to put your car into a very precarious spot sometimes to make a pass happen.
We go on board with the 04 of Mark Mann. Mark Mann finding himself in 5th place right here. He is 3.8 seconds behind our race leaders, doing all he can to catch up. And as those race leaders were fighting back and forth, that allowed the 04 to really close in. Hunter Reynolds pushing on the back bumper with David Overstreet behind Hunter Reynolds. These guys not out of this race just yet, but they do need a little bit of help to get caught up to this field.
Yeah, the race is not over by any means, so they're coming up on their fuel window here soon, probably in 3 to 4 laps even. But that lead pack is starting to catch some lap cars, it looked like, for a second. I could be mistaken. No, it looks like the 21 is still leading that lead pack there. And, okay, I wonder if they're going to try to stretch this a little bit, maybe. Being the leaders, people are really going to plan their pit strategy around them. But the 20 is just sitting back about a car length almost, and just holding this, just buying this time. As they collect the 84 and the 27 of Ligmanese and Sean Stevens in this lead pack. And that's just more cars that's going to help them possibly even pull away from that pack being led by Mark Mann.
Daniel Holloway last time around turned a 44.99 lap time. Mark Mann turning a 45.09. So that group a little bit slower, but overall, Mark Mann is closing in. He's 3.3 seconds behind our race leader, the 21 of Daniel Holloway. Dana Osborne, Paul Servant trying to get this 21 machine to victory lane as our fuel window now is open to make it to the end of our regularly scheduled race event.
It looks like Mark Mann and his pack just shot down pit road. They're taking no chances. They're just throwing everything to the fact that they can undercut this lead pack. And, we'll see how long their stops are compared to this lead pack, especially to that 20 who's been, overcutting everybody and, saving his fuel very well. So very, very interested to see how these pit stops will pan out.
As Dana Osborne in the 88 goes up in smoke, his engine has popped. He is trying to make it to pit road as he had pushed so hard on the 21. Got to keep those temperatures in check, and the 88 maybe lost focus there. That is going to give the lead to Justin Levine, and Levine gaining 18 spots on this race here tonight from where he started. Keep in mind, he has a lot more fuel than the 21 and the 3.
So looking back at the pit stop with Mark Mann, Overstreet, and Hunter Reynolds, Hunter had a 15-second pit stop. So I'm wondering if they had an issue or miscommunication. But, Mark Mann and David Overstreet, 7.3 and 7.6 seconds. So I'm assuming they just took fuel, no tires. But that's going to hurt them, especially losing a third car, especially Hunter Reynolds, who's an excellent pusher. But don't count out David Overstreet and Mark Mann just yet. That lead pack still has to pit. And, KR, looks like Hunter lost a lot of time.
Yeah, he's going to go a lap down here. Justin Levine in the 20, your race leader. Dana Osborne, engine let go. Daniel Holloway, Paul Servant on pit road. These last few laps are really starting to shake things up. Levine in the 20. Again, trying to stretch his fuel as far as he can. Don't think there's any way this 20 machine can make it to the end of this thing without one more pit stop. But, I think he's just trying to hold back a little bit to make sure he's got enough for a green, white checkered. I think we might see this 20 on pit road next time around.
It wouldn't surprise me. He's probably going to hop in behind the 64 of his teammate of Austin Derbyshire and come down pit road. And, it looks like the Candy Shack Motorsports team just got off pit road not too long ago. Excellent stops by the 21 and the 3. Sub 7 seconds. you know, quick splash of fuel, but I'm interested to see how the 20 is when he comes down pit road and see how much fuel he has to take, KR.
So the 21 of Holloway finding himself in 8th place. DJ Mitzel in the 61 right now, scored in second, with Todd Poston in the 31 right behind him. Free Wide Motorsports right there running second and third. Anthony English in the 40 machine out of Checkered Flag Motorsports stable. He is in 4th spot. Rounding out the top 5 will be the 25 of Jimmy Reynolds, but Jimmy Reynolds finding himself 13 seconds behind these guys. So our top 5 really kind of scattered here as Justin Levine continues to lead. That 20 machine looking very solid.
Yeah, he's got to come down pit road here soon. He's on a 12. I mean, KR, he's only got 12 laps on his fuel.
Yeah, but we're going to have 12 laps to go this time around. 24 laps is a bit much to stretch it. But man, I'll tell you, he can hit pit road and take less fuel than everyone else, and maybe make the gamble that this is going to not go into overtime and get that splash of fuel and get back out there and spread his lead out even more.
Yeah, KR, you said exactly what I was thinking. And, you know, saving precious seconds on pit road, how much fuel is he going to take? He's just sitting in the back of this pack here, just saving fuel. It looks like the 27 of Sean Stevens hops down pit road by himself. Sean Stevens in P14 right now. Not having the greatest of races, but, you know, anything's possible. There could be a caution here soon when after the... You know, maybe that's what the 20 is hoping, that there might be a caution and more cautions, but he'll probably be down pit road here soon. But he might be running this tank out, KR.
Yeah, if he can stretch it as far as he can and collect on that caution, not 100% sure what the rest of the field would do. You know, I feel like maybe they would stay out. And it really all comes down to, are you gambling on this thing staying green the rest of the way? Or do you want to have a little something left for a green-white checkered attempt? But right now, this 20 machine still not hitting pit road. So Justin Levine with a 22-second lead over DJ Mitzel. He has a lot of time to work with, but DJ is closing in just a little bit on him.
Yep, and it looks like DJ hasn't pit either. You know, going on 17 laps since his last pit stop, and that means the 61, the 31, and the 40 all still have to pit one more time, KR. So, you know, really your virtual P1 possibly will be the 21 still, and he's 13 seconds back from the leader of Justin Levine, or from DJ Mitzel, KR.
So the 21 of Daniel Holloway finding himself in 5th spot. Paul Servant, his teammate, tucked in behind him. Dana Osborne, who had his engine let go, did not go a lap down, but now he finds himself running with the 17 of JD Crow. JD Crow does happen to be a couple laps down. We saw the 17 get into a mix-up with the 65, and that cost JD Crow a whole bunch of time here, as Levine now looking at, well, let's make it 8 laps to go this time by.
Yeah, he's cutting it very close, KR, and it looks like DJ Mitzel and company just hit pit road just then. If I'm not mistaken, it was the 31 and the 40, but they're already off pit road. Great stops for them. You know, we'll see where the 20 cycles out. Maybe he's hoping for a caution to get a bunch of people a lap down, and who knows, KR, with the closing end of this race, anything's possible, really.
Absolutely. Levine now has a 38-second lead over Daniel Holloway. So with all of these options available to him, he is going to hit pit road, maybe take just a splash of fuel. With this huge lead as Derbyshire, bit crossed up there. That could have been disastrous for the 20 as Derbyshire got sideways hitting pit lane. But now we'll see if the 20 and the 64 can have a good team pit stop here and make this a very interesting race as Holloway and Paul Servant are making their way through turns 3 and 4 right now. Justin Levine making his way down pit road just now, leaving pit lane. So the 20 got some time here, but I'll tell you what, that 21 and the 3, they are closing very quickly.
Yeah, KR, it's going to be really close, and I'm wondering if the 20 is going to, you know, try to get his teammate of Austin Derbyshire behind him for this two-car tandem battle between teams. And you know, this is going to be a really interesting finish, KR, as they go past Derbyshire right now. And well, that was not Derbyshire. Sorry, that was somebody else. But it looks like Daniel Holloway and Paul Servant are coming up onto the 20 of Justin Levine, and you know, we'll see where they'll keep their momentum. Wouldn't be surprised if the 20 try to throw some shenanigans in front of them to hold them up a little bit, but looks like the 64 is getting onto the 20's bumper, and it looks like they're going to split the track. Maybe he's going to get the 64 in front of them. Maybe trying to keep him on the lead lap there, KR, or what do you think is going on there?
Derbyshire just getting out in front, but that has allowed Daniel Holloway to close into 1.1 seconds and gaining quickly. Full head of steam for the 21 and the 3. They are within draft distance right now. They are able to close in on the 21 here, and so we are going to have a shootout to the end of this thing. Justin Levine using his teammate Austin Derbyshire to pull him around, but here comes the 21 and the 3.
Yeah, KR, these 4 cars or 3 cars battling for the lead. I'm wondering if they battle a little too much. You got a big pack with Mark Mann, Hunter Reynolds, David Overstreet, you know, just biding their time, waiting for something maybe happen. Maybe they might wreck one another. You know, anything could really happen as the 20 is going to go door to door with his teammate. They might be blocking out this lane as much as they can, and the 84 of Lynn McNeese is going to go to that top side behind the 20. And KR, they're losing time to Mark Mann right now within 5 seconds, but the question is, can that pack catch up to this lead pack here, KR?
Yeah, so teammates splitting right there, locking out what would be first place for the 21 of Holloway, but Holloway determined to win this one, takes the race lead and pushes the 64 despite his best efforts out in front. The 21 though just clearing the 20 of Justin Levine, but he stays down on the inside lane.
Yeah, you're wondering if the 21's going to want to go up in front of the 20, but that might indicate that he's going to maybe not even push him, but the 20's getting a massive shove from the 84 of Lynn McNeese. And I'm wondering if that 20's now saying, you know, it's time to go. Let's hop in front of these guys and really take over the race, or just lock them out to where they can't make a pass. And that pack behind them is 4.8 seconds back, and I don't know if they're going to be able to make up that much time in, you know, this little amount of time, KR.
Yeah, Mark Mann 4.8 seconds behind in 4th place. Our top 3 cars all right here battling for the race win with 3 laps to go. And if I'm Austin Derbyshire, I think I'm going to be nervous that the 21 is going to try and force the issue here, as teammates have him locked out. That 21 wants a race win, but how bad does he want it? Does he maybe want to try and muscle the 64 out of his way? Or does he just try and run and get the best finish possible and maybe look to next week to pick up the race win?
Yeah, it looks like he's getting a little bit of tunnel vision on the 64 here. He still has his teammate behind him. You know, might be smart to drop out and try to build up a run behind the 84 and, you know, use the 64 as a pick for his own team, but you know, he's going to stay committed to that 20 to that 64's bumper and just keep shoving him around. Hopefully that he can make some force some spot. As we're coming to 2 laps to go, KR, we're coming to 1 lap to go this next time by. It's going to be a real interesting last lap.
That it is, and if we can get to the white flag, this thing will finish without a caution. The 20 machine, your race leader, Lynn McNeese, getting out of the way. Things are really going to start to pick up now as the white flag being gripped by the flagman. Justin Levine trying to keep the 21 stuck behind his teammate. Holloway in the 21 machine going to lead that lap as he tries to push Derbyshire clear of the 20. And right now the 21 has the 20 cleared. How are they going to play out as Justin Levine drops down to third spot? Holloway now has to block the 3 and the 20 to pick up this race win. Austin Derbyshire staying committed down to the bottom lane.
Yeah, it looks like he's locking up that bottom lane and letting the 20 just get a massive run on the outside. You know, if you're thinking of Daniel Holloway, he's getting turned big wreck.
Holloway goes around, collects Justin Levine. Paul Servant in the 3, gonna go unchallenged to the start finish line as the checkered flag is gonna wave. Paul Servant gonna pick up the race win here tonight.
Yeah, that group of Mark Mann, Hunter Reynolds, you know, coming in, sticking with it. Mark Mann getting a P2 and Hunter with P3. You know, a great finish by them. And it looks like the 20 still got to the P5 here, KR, and man, what a finish.
We'll take another look at this one. Looked like the 3 just drifted up just enough as the 20 was trying to pinch everyone down. The 20 got turned. He then in turn collected the 21. And with it being on the white flag lap, no yellow flag come out. And so this thing is going to finish without a caution. An outstanding race. And Paul Servant picks up his second win of the season.
Yeah, that's the second week in a row, at least that I've seen, that person that takes the white flag does not finish the race in the top 5.
So guys, we're gonna step away from the microphones. We're gonna set up our post-race show as the 3 of Paul Servant burns this one down. No one go anywhere. We'll be back to talk to our podium finishing drivers. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we are here to talk to our race winner, and we're going to let Travis Elliott take that away. Travis?
Paul, you know, you had an excellent race tonight. You guys in the Candy Shack Motorsports team. Saw the 88 had a little bit of issues. Can you tell me what happened there?
No idea. He just blew up, and we weren't really pushing hard. We were just, you know, following the line and waiting to do our pits, and all of a sudden I seen a poof of black smoke, and there he went.
Yeah, me and KR were both in the booth and kind of surprised because, you know, Dana's a very strong teammate for you guys, and but you guys work very well as a team, and you know, you guys were controlling lines and, you know, really just doing excellent as a team should and would around a super speedway. But you know, on the last couple laps there when you were racing with the 20 and the 64, just tell us a little bit what was going on with you in the 21 there coming to the checkered flag.
Well, the plan was just we wanted to get Dan a win. You know, I got to win. Dana's got to win. I wanted to get Dan a win, and I mean, just hard race, and I hate to get a win like that. I really wanted Dan to win it. I mean, great race with Justin, as always. When me and him race together, it's just you know, we were close, and I guess I moved up a little bit, and no room for error. I asked there with I think a lap and a half to go for the lappers to the lap cars to move, and Leon did. Justin's teammate stayed up front there, but that was all right. I mean, it was working out. We were getting Dan the win, and unfortunately we touched me and Justin, and I got a win that way, which I don't like.
Yeah, you said it best. No room for error, and you know you could hate getting wins like that, but you're taking the checker flag home tonight, and that's your second one of the season, I believe, and you know your team is looking great for this playoffs or chase, and I'm really looking forward to watching the rest of the season, watching what you guys do. Do you want to give any shout outs, thank yous, anybody?
I want to thank you guys. Turn 3, the league, Todd and DJ, and all the guys that show up every Sunday night. Justin, I love racing with Justin. We've had some great races in the past together. We rarely have issues when we touch. I mean, it kind of sucks that that happened tonight. But my teammates, Chris wasn't here tonight. I guess he had some issues because he tried to log in and he couldn't make it. Dan, man, I'm sorry. I really wanted to get him the win. And Dana, and everybody who shows up, and the fans, and everybody.
All right, Paul. Thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Paul Servant picking up the race win, but now we move on to our second place finisher, and that is none other than Mark Mann himself. And Mark, you bring this one home in second place in that 04 machine, and a far off second place that you were able to watch the crash happen in front of you and were able to squeeze through that one.
Yeah, I'll take it. Sometimes I'll even take a win if people are crashing in front of me. I'll take them anyway and get them. I was just fortunate to get that. I had my teammates Hunter and David O pushing, so we just stayed in it. I mean, we had some bad luck early. I kept getting caught up behind cars crashing on pit road, and it was slowing me down, and then I spun my pit a little, and so it was just a few seconds here, a few seconds there. Every time I came out, I was behind, so I was happy. Second place, I'll take it.
Well, second place here at Daytona, a good finish. Anytime you come to a super speedway event, man, got to be happy with that. Any shout outs or thank yous you'd like to give?
Yeah, Turn 3 Racing, you guys always bring it. NSRA, all the sponsors, my teammates, Mayor Clark, and all the fans and friends at home watching these races. We appreciate the support.
All right, that is your second place finisher, Mark Mann, getting it done out here tonight. But now we're going to move on to our third place finisher, and that is Hunter Reynolds in the 26. And Travis, this one's all you, bud.
Hunter, man, you and your teammates were 7-8 seconds back and did a lot of pit strategy to get up to where you could be within 3 to 4 seconds coming to the closing laps of this race. And I saw you getting that incident earlier with, I believe, DJ Mitzel, and just great race today, man. And way to stick it out to get a P3, Hunter. Any thoughts of inside the mind of what you're going through? Going through the hardship of being involved in an incident, almost going a lap down, and really just coming to the closing laps of this race.
Yeah, man. We did have a decent race, but it didn't feel like it. Our Alliance Motorsports team, we had some unfortunate luck. They got taken out. Half of us got taken out and going into pits one time, and then the next stop, the other half was gone. And then, of course, whenever we were up there with Candy Shack, had the incident right there, almost got taken out. And then fortunately, I had Mark and David O. We pitted in, split the strategy, and it ended up working out. Yeah, it just felt like bad luck for us tonight, but ended up here, so I guess it turned out great.
Yeah, bad luck for a P3 for you guys, and overall, you, Mark Mann, and David Overstreet getting a top 5. It's a great finishing for the Alliance Motorsports team. And Hunter, do you want to give any shout outs to anybody or anything like that, man?
Yeah, of course. Shout out to all my teammates, Alliance Motorsports. Running with Checker Flag too, so all those guys. You guys up in the booth, KR, Travis Elliott, Turn 3. Guys do a good job. Appreciate all the league owners, admins, put this thing on for us, and everyone watching. We appreciate everyone.
All right, Hunter, thanks, man. Congratulations on getting the P3.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
All right, Hunter Reynolds, your final interview, your final spot on the podium here tonight. And man, I'll tell you, that was an exciting race, Travis, as we get ready to go through our results for this one. Paul Servant picking up his second win of the season. Mark Mann bringing it home in second. Third place goes to Hunter Reynolds. David Overstreet going to finish fourth. Fifth goes to Justin Levine. Travis?
And it looks like Daniel Holloway, heartbreaking for him on that last lap, coming home P6. DJ Mitzel involved in the incident with Hunter earlier, P7. Todd Poston, P8. Looks like Anthony English and coming home in P9. Dana Osborne with the blown engine, still getting a top 10. Great finish for him.
Jimmy Reynolds going to finish in 11th. 12th goes to Les Levy. 13th will be the 82 of Dan Harrington. 14th, Lynn McNeese. Then Sean Stevens in 15th spot.
In 16th, David Gameforth. 17th place, Austin Derbyshire. P18, Stephen Squirmin Herman. 19th place, Donald Bennett. In 20th, JD Crow.
Then Russ Hancock finishing 21st. 22nd goes to Roy Grandy. Jason Graham's 23rd. And Eric Green and Chris Akers, unable to make the start here tonight, going to be credited with 24th and 25th spot. So guys, that is going to do it for us here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. And Travis, why don't you sign us off here tonight?
Everybody, I hope you have a great week. Stay safe. And, much love from us here at Turn 3. And much love. Everybody have a good night. Hope to see you next week.